Welcome to an introduction video to a series that CELTA has produced to explain what global citizenship education is in the context of our work in trying to embed it within the adult and community education system in Ireland. CELTA is an Irish word for worldly wise, and really this word, this term, this definition, if you like, global citizenship education, it's quite a mouthful. So the intention of this series of videos is to break it down, to make it understandable, and to highlight the role and the importance of global citizenship education. When we talk about global citizenship education, there is a number of key points to remember. The first one is that there is a local and a global dimension to global citizenship education. And when we look at some of the issues later on, you'll see that there's a constant interplay between what's happening in local communities across Ireland and indeed any other country and what is happening internationally. But it is very important to remember that if there isn't a global dimension, it's not global citizenship education. That local and global must exist. The second point to note is that we must look at what's causing the issues and challenges that our communities face, both in Ireland and with partners in countries across the world. And there's a particular graphic that I'd like to show you to illustrate the root causes and how we begin to approach that. This is known as a problem tree analysis, and it's a very useful visual aid to help with adult and community education. And oftentimes we would ask groups to identify what is the biggest issue or challenge in their community. And whatever they would identify, we could put in any one of those into the trunk of the tree. So imagine if we put poverty as an example of an issue that could be affecting a community. And how we begin to explain this is that what's below the ground level is the roots of the tree or the causes of where the problem comes from. And what we see from the top end of the trees is the effects or the symptoms. And what global citizenship education is trying to do is to not dismiss what is up here, but to really address what's underneath. A different way of trying to visualize a problem tree analysis is using the beautiful Boyne, or any river for that matter. That's what we're trying to do in global citizenship education. We're trying to understand where the issue has its roots or its source and try to address the source of the problem or the issue. It's crucial to begin by asking communities what are the issues or challenges that is relevant for them. Because in adult and community education, that relevance is key. Within global citizenship education, we look at poverty in overseas context globally. We also look at poverty in Ireland, different types of poverty. We look at inequality and the impact that that can have. And again, we do that locally and globally. We look at conflict and violence. Many communities are deeply impacted by conflict and violence. We look at hunger, the climate crisis, health issues, education issues, and so the list could go on. These are the types of issues that global citizenship education does a great job of addressing. What's also important to remember when talking about global citizenship education is that there is an action component. Without the action, we're talking much more about development studies. When we add development studies and action, we end up having what was termed development education, or what is currently called global citizenship education. So there has to be an action component. These are the issues that we look at. We need to look at the root causes, and very importantly, we need to look at the balance and the interplay between the local and the global. So this series of videos that will be made available online will be divided into 4 different areas. The first pillar that we've seen to be very effective when trying to break down what global citizenship education is to begin to look at critical thinking, and we'll do that in video 1. In terms of video 2, the focus will be very much on problem solving. How do people work together? How does communities work with each other to try and bring about change to the issues that are facing their communities? Video 3 will explore what is known as systems thinking, And that really looks at the interconnection between different variables of what's known as complex systems. And last but not least, the fourth video will look at active citizenship. Because as I've mentioned, there is a key action component in global citizenship education. Without any one of those pillars, it's not really, from CELTA's point of view, the full expanse of what global citizenship education is. Of course, it could still be valuable, but for us, the real value is bringing these four pillars together.